of your time. So let's start out with the Resume Writing 101 workshop and what you will be learning today. So we're going to talk about what a resume is. We're also going to talk about different types of resumes, what goes into each and every one of these sections, the do's and don'ts, and we're going to give you some examples. Okay, having worked on individuals' resumes, I will tell you that most people will create a resume or somebody will create a resume for you, and you will use that resume no matter what workshop, no matter what job you're looking for. And that is not the way you want your resume to be. Okay, your resume is something that is going to be your business card, so to speak. It's what is going to tell an employer who you are. It's going to introduce you to your employers. It's going to give a brief summary of you, what your work objectives are, what your experience is, what your skills are. You don't want to tell, you do not want to tell your personal life story. You also don't want to give them a 3 or 4 page dissertation on every single job you've had if it doesn't apply to the job you're applying to now. So what I find a lot of times is that you'll send me a resume, and I'm not talking about the group here, but in general. And for example, we just sent out some job leads on receptionists. And so I asked people to send me their resume first so that I could see what they were going to be sending. And some people were school teachers, some were CNAs, some had other skill levels, right? So their resume reflected that those jobs and that skill, but it wasn't tailored to the admin assistant position. So what does an admin assistant position require? It requires that you have some, technical, adept technical skills, some verbal, written, and verbal communication skills. It requires that you be organized. It requires that you have time management, that you have some strategic planning skills, and it requires that you be resourceful. It requires that you be detailed oriented and so forth. It doesn't require that you know how to manage children or create an education plan. So if your resume is reflecting that, it's not reflecting what you're applying for. So even though you've been a school teacher per se, and that's what you've been doing for a while, what you want to do is look at the skills that are in that content and change them to reflect this. For example, you created uh, educational curriculum. Okay, created new and created new uh, criteria workshops, or created new innovative ways to have work done or to complete a job. Um, Entered data or entered into a website or agency website all data as required, maintained reports, up-to-date reports, was very customer services and outreach services. So even though you're a school teacher, what you're saying now on the bottom of that skill set is that you have the administrative assistant skills. So you don't have to lose the job. You just need to change what you were doing there to reflect the new position you're applying for. So if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask. The next step we want to talk about, I want to show you what a typical resume looks like. So most people will have a typical resume, which is your name, your city, your email address, and phone number. Please make sure that the email and the phone number are current and working. There are many times when I've reached out to people with an email that I've been given and it doesn't work, or a phone number and it doesn't work. And so if you're reaching out to look for work and you're sending an employer a phone number and they call you and the number doesn't work, then you've just lost your chance to get this job.
Mm.
If you can see, this is a very simple resume. You do not want a resume that's too busy. Monica and I have seen some very busy resumes where there's stuff on the side, there's stuff on the top, there's pictures. Remember, everything now has become digital. So when you try to transfer a resume of that type into a digital, download it into an application that's online, it gets distorted and all the information gets lost and it becomes very uh, confusing. You want it to be as simple and as easy as possible and that reads simple. Remember that most agencies are now using computer systems that they run these resumes through, and they're looking for keywords. That's why we're talking about your resume coming down to the keywords that these and skills that are required for the job. Okay, if you have the keywords there, it'll be one of the resumes that they look for. If you don't, it'll be sent to the pile of do not calls. Okay, so you want it to be simple, straightforward, and provide the information that the job description is indicating. So if a job description says you need to have critical thinking skills, you need to have management skills, you have to have time management skills, then in the area where you're going to put your skills, you're going to put those things in there, right? If it says that you need a CPR, um, current CPR certification, then in your qualifications, you want to enter that you have a CPR certification active. You know, if it requires that you have computer skills, do you have any kind of certifications that you went through any type of computer skills or computer workshops? Did you take some of our online stuff where you're able to then say, I've taken these courses and here's a certificate? You know, did you do, if you're doing looking to work at a school, in the cafeteria, or in a restaurant, do you have a food handler's card? You know, these are things that you want to look for before you start applying for positions. Apply for positions that you know you have skills for, and then make sure you tailor your resume to those skill sets required. Okay? Please feel free to ask any questions if you need to. So there's different types of resumes, okay? The chronological resume, which is the most common, it's the one that lists all of your jobs and all of your experiences in order based on the dates that you worked, with the most recent first, and then the ones that you've done in the past right after that, one after the other, with no breaks. Focus on work history, which is the top, which ones do you list on top? What do you want to say that you've done? You were a lead of 10 persons, you were awarded a gold star status for meeting appointment setting goals. You were consistently exceeding monthly sales goals. This is for a salesperson. Okay. So you want to make sure that that's in there, but you also want to make sure that you use these when you have steady and consistent and progressive employment history. So let's say you started out, you're now a lead in a housekeeping in a hotel as a housekeeper. But prior to that, you were, a housekeeper, and prior to that, you were the apprentice. So you've got the job showing that you've been growing in your career and in your focus or your line of work. But let's say that you were an HR person and you started out as an admin assistant, and then you went in to start assisting the HR manager, and then you became the assistant HR person, and then now you've been the HR person. So these are reflected in this type of history. Now, let's say that you have had a break in work and you haven't worked, you've been working on and off, or you've been working in different fields and different areas, you've had different types of jobs. So let's say you've had a variety of different unrelated jobs, you've had a lot of gaps in your employment, or you're just re-entering the workforce. Then what you want to do is look into a functional resume. Okay, the functional resume is going to be something where you highlight all the relevant experience for that job you're applying for. So here, I've heard a lot of times when I tell people, do you want to apply for this housekeeping position? The first thing they tell me is, I don't have the skills for that. Now, if you've been a single parent and you've cleaned your house and you've, washed your clothes and you've kept up, the maintenance of your home, you have the skills. If for 20 years you took care of a sickly parent because they needed your help, and that's the type of work you've been doing for the last 20 years, or let's say you're not even getting paid for it but you did it, you have the skills. You were cleaning their home, you were creating dietary menus, you were cooking, you were cleaning, you were washing, you were transporting, you were doing all of these different things. So the skills are there. If you've been a salesperson, if you volunteered for work, any of these are skills that you have created over your life. There is no way that you are 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years old and have not learned skills along the way. You just have to remember how to highlight them and put them into your resume to be able to sell yourself as the right person for the job. Remember that being older does not mean that you've lost your ability to work. On the contrary, you want to highlight the fact that now you don't have issues with childcare. You don't have issues with different schedulings. You are experienced. You have critical thinking. You have analytical thinking. Think about this, and this I tell my clients all the time. Coca Cola. Coca Cola, the soda, is the worst drink for your body that you can have because of the sugar, because of the caffeine, because of all the chemicals. It cleans the toilet, for God's sake. However, everyone buys Coca Cola because it knows how to sell itself. All you need to do is get in the door to show people that you have the ability to do this job. And that's what you do when you put it on your resume. Okay? What does a resume have? Here's the thing. There's times when I'll see a resume and it just has one page, the name, and then education, and that's it. You want to have contact information. You want to have, excuse me, there's a ambulance going by. Sorry, guys. You want to have contact information. You want to have the objective. What are you looking for? The next thing you want to have is your skills, the qualifications. What qualifies you for this job? Then you want to enter all of your experience, where you've worked, uh, what years, and then finally your education. You want to put it this way because you're looking for them to see that your skills are there. If you put the education in the front, you may do that as well, but you want them to know right off by looking at this that this is what you're able to do. But let's say your education reflects a child development and you're looking for an admin assistant position, then the first thing they're going to see is education and child development, and you're not going to be qualified for the position. But if in the skills you put that you have technical knowledge, that you have time management, that you have administrative assistant skills, then your education will be something that they see as an afterthought and say, "Oh, okay, they've been going to college, they've been doing all this, but they have the skills." Do you understand all that? I'm hoping that you guys are understanding because I'm not hearing anybody. So, how do you include in your resume the information. So the contact information, for example, is to include accurate and current contact information so your employers can reach you, like we said before. Please don't put nicknames. Please don't say my name is BB when your name is Barbara or anything else of that nature. You want a working phone number, you want a professional voicemail. You want a professional and acceptable voice message without all the ringtones and such. There have been times when I was working when I was a director of housing, I would be one of the people that needed to review resumes. If I called somebody and I had this music that was going on for 15 minutes, I hung up. I could not wait that long in order for myself to talk to this person. Okay. If the voicemail said something that was inappropriate or it didn't sound right, if it had a child's voice instead of the adult's voice, if the message was just, you know what to do or whatever. I mean, this is so and so. I'm away from my phone right now. Please leave a message. Something very simple, very professional. Emails. I had one that said juicylips dot at gmail.com. Please, if you have those type of emails, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying don't use them in a professional sector. Okay, use only job related activities in those emails that you're going to have. For example, my Facebook, my LinkedIn are all professional. Nothing else goes into those uh, areas or into those activities but professional information because people will look at that. Do not use the same email address for social media accounts. So your Facebook and your Instagram, you can have a different one for all of your fun stuff. But for your professional stuff, you want to have something that looks a lot more professional. So when they look you up, they're looking at a very professional, put together individual. Okay. So I know that a lot of us have, and I'm included in the objective section. It's really hard to write some kind of a summary there. And to customize it to each job is probably the best way to do this. You know, the position and the job specifics or the company specifics. Or sometimes you just want to have something general that you can use. For example, service professional across different related fields where you've worked in different areas. You know, it's up to you to decide what's the best way to do this. But here are some examples of what we're talking about. So for a general objective, you just want to say to obtain an administrative assistant position that would allow me to utilize my 10 years of experience. Pretty general. You're just saying that you're looking for an administrative assistant position and that you have 10 years of experience. But you can also say that, be a little bit more specific and say to obtain an office assistant position within the financial department of a community organization. So let's say you're applying for, like, let's say our agency, the San Diego Housing Commission. That's a community organization. Or Father Joe's Village. That's a community organization. And you're looking for the admin assistant in their HR department or in their finance department. You want it to be specific. But see, what this is telling you is that your resume is an organic document. But that means that it changes depending on what you need it for. Okay? Another example is to obtain a customer service representative position with Cox Communication. You see how specific that is? You're specifically saying that you're looking for the service representative position and where I can utilize my 5 years of progressive customer service experience. So if you're saying that you've had 5 years of progressive customer service experience, your resume needs to reflect those 5 years of customer service experience in different jobs that have been customer service related. Another example, professional seeking to obtain a caregiver position that would enable me to utilize my skills and qualities for the progress of the organization. Now, this is someone looking for a caregiving position. So we've given you three different, very specific objectives in three of the fields that we find a lot of our clients looking for work: office assistant, service representative, and caregivers. You also have the generalized one, and then you can also create a summary. The summary has a little bit more meat to it, okay? So it's an administrative support professional with more than 3 years of experience, offering versatile office management skills and professional proficient in Microsoft Office, excellent communication skills, and ability to work independently or as part of a team to meet project deadlines. This is telling them a lot in this one little sentence. You have 3 years of experience as an admin. You know your way around office management equipment. You have the skills in any kind of computer programs. You can communicate very easily, and you can work by yourself or you can work with others. And you always meet your deadlines. So in this sentence, you've given the potential employer a very good understanding of who you are. In the skills section that we talked about earlier, include skills that are more relevant to each position. As we indicated earlier, emphasize the hard skills over the soft skills. That's really, really important. If you have hard skills, to emphasize them. If you don't, then and put in the soft skills. Include certifications that are relevant to the position you're applying to. Okay. So for example, what are hard skills? Hard skills are things that are tangible that you can actually prove. For example, 10 years of progressive administrative experience, you're showing them 10 years of employment in administration work. You are proficient in Microsoft Excel and Outlook. Do you have any certificates? Do you have any courses that reflect that you've done that? You can type 45 words a minute. Did you take the typing test? Did you get the certificate for that? Do you have a current CPR card? You have a current CNA, you're currently CNA certified. These are hard, what they call hard skills. You have a food handler's card. That's a hard skill. You've already gotten a certification that emphasizes that you understand food handling. What are soft skills? Soft skills are excellent verbal and written communication, honest, reliable, team player, analytical, um, critical thinking. All of these would be considered soft skills. So with the professional experience section, which is the next section we're talking about, you're going to put the top 5 duties for each position held. So you don't want to put in a lot of words. You don't want to put in a lot of fluff. You want to say point one, two, three, four, five. Excellent customer service skills, uh, written, verbal, and communication skills, ability to handle multiple tasks at the same time and come in within time, whatever it is, but five. One, two, three, four, five. Relevant, the most relevant professional experience first, less relevant later. So if you're saying you're a CNA, you maintained 5 clients consistently over 2 years. You did personal care. Uh, you did the cleaning, the medication. You provided them with transportation. You did their shopping. You did their cooking, so forth. Okay. Include anything that's voluntary as well. Any volunteer work is experience. If you volunteered at the library, if you volunteered at the animal shelter, if you helped the church do their books. These are all experiences. So here's one for a security guard. Okay, this is an example of a security guard line item that we were talking about. So you're going to go ahead and show that a security guard for you, in your case, you worked between 5 2009 to 3 2013. There you have 4 years of work. Now, a lot of the times, what I see is somebody worked 3 months here, 2 months there, 3 months there. If you're working that way, you want to probably try to combine all that into one if it's all the same thing. So let's say that you're a security guard and you work in 1 year, you worked at 5 different companies, or in 3 years, you worked in 5 different companies. You want to say that you worked in multiple agencies throughout these 5 years. And you can give the names of the agencies, of the security guard card companies that you worked in. And it could have been a temporary positions. They could have been, temporary positions that were jumping from one to the other and you were working with an agency. But you want to explain that because employers are not too keen on employees that jump from one job to another, because they're going to spend a lot of money on the background check, on fingerprinting, and all of these things for you to only be there for a couple of months. So they want to see longevity. So for a security guard, these are some of the skills or some of the duties that a security guard might do. So they might observe and report any suspicious activity to police. They patrolled exterior and interior of the assigned locations. They wrote detailed reports and maintained daily activity reports. They enforced rules, regulations, policies, procedures, and responded to emergency situations. Now, if you want to get a job as an admin assistant, how many skills from here are transferable to an administrative assistant position? You write reports. You maintain daily activity reports. You you observe, and report anything that is needed in the agency. So you could take 2 or 3 of these sections and transfer them over to an admin assistant position. And then think about the other jobs or other skills you did there or other duties you had there and how you can convert those into admin assistant skills. Okay? It, any kind of work that you've had, you've done so much more than you think you've done. So you just have to stop for a bit and think about it and think about how what you did on a daily basis at those different jobs. And you'll find that you had so many more positions or so many more skills that you didn't even think about.
Juanita,
Yes.
if you're putting down volunteer experience, you just put what only the experience that relates to the job you're applying for, or do you put it all down?
For the job that you're applying for.
Okay.
So because I understand that you want to have one resume with all of the work that you've ever done, right? So you want to have what we call your full resume with every single aspect of your positions that you've had ever, right? And then you want to be able to take from those and put them into one resume that you're going to use to apply for whatever position you're going to apply for. So let's say that you worked as a janitor, you worked as a teacher, you worked as a caregiver, you worked as a cashier. See, and so now you've got 20 years of all of this stuff, right? And you're applying for a position as a medical as a receptionist, right?
Hmm.
Or a medical office. So you're going to look at all of these and say customer service, for example, is something you're going to need. Data entry is something you're going to need. Uh, uh, Filing is something you're going to need. And you're going to look through all the positions that you've had, move over the ones that reflect that, and then add in the skills that are required by the job posting that you got. Okay.
Okay, so you just don't put in all your volunteer, just whatever applies to the specific job.
Exactly. And if you have like diverse ones, then you want to do what we showed you earlier, which is the functional resume that
Mhm.
reflects the pertinent um, skills for the job.
Okay, thank
And
you.
then when you meet with the employer, when they call you, you're going to say, I've had positions throughout consistently, but I only highlighted those that applied to this position on my resume.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Your high school education, you can put on your resume. There's no need to put a date. Okay. College education, vocational education, any certificates you may have. It's important that you think about all those certificates you've had because along the way we've created and learned a lot and we've picked up a lot of different skills. I mean, I'm certified in painting. Do I need it now? No, but I have the certification and I know how to do it. If I were ever to apply for a management company overseeing a maintenance company, right, I would have a certificate that says that I know how to oversee them. Do I need it now? No. Did I highlight it in this when I look for this position? No. But I have it if I need it for something else. Okay?
What about your college education and all that? You have to put down the dates?
It's good. I usually when I'm updating people's resumes, I just put class of the class of 2019, the class of 2018, the class of 2007, right? Because you don't have to put a lot of dates. If you don't even have the dates, then don't worry about it. But look at this is kind of what we're talking about. Southwestern Community College, 721, uh, Associates of Science degree on office procedures, Bachelor of Arts, Economics, and you have the first aid certification. Now, if you don't have any of these, don't worry about it. What you have, you have. Your experience then needs to speak for itself. So this is what a finished product looks like. As you can see, it's pretty simple. It doesn't have a lot of things on there, but it does show the summary, the work experience, education, and if you have any additional qualifications, that would be wonderful as well. Okay. Now, we want to open it up for any questions. Are there any questions? Um, we do offer as work readiness specialists that you have all of us to help you with your resumes. If you're going to go ahead and send out a resume to somebody, please feel free to email us the job description that you're applying for and the resume. We can always review it for you and tell you if it's got what it needs to have in it so that you can apply more confidently. Okay?
You guys do mock interviews
We do mock interviews.
on Zoom?
We set them up, and right now with the things, everything being more digital and online, where people are doing Zoom interviews now or phone interviews, we are able to assist you with that as well.
Okay, and then I had one last question about college. What if you went to college like a long time ago? You still put down the dates that you went?
You don't have to put the dates, just put what you have, what your degrees are in. Because I went to school a long time ago, Kelly, probably way before you.
I don't know.
I graduated from high school, I think in 1980, I think. Okay. And so I finished my college years in the 80s. Okay. But believe it or not, if this agency, for example, goes all the way back and checks everything,
Mm-hmm.
all my degrees and stuff are there. One of the things you don't want to do is put information on your resume that isn't they're not going to be able to find. So don't say you have a high school diploma and then you don't have one. Or don't say you have an AA degree and you don't have one. Because with this digital time, everything is easily accessible.
So if you've had like 3 years of college, which I didn't graduate, but it was at a major university, I would just put 3 years.
You would put that you took, that you attended uh, for a certificate or whatever it was that you did, you know. What were you studying?
I was just doing general at first, and then I switched over to psychology, but I did 3 years, but did not graduate from the university.
Okay. But so did you get any certificates or other items from that?
No, it was just the
All right.
course.
So I would just say attended City College during the, attended City College and took general ed and psychology courses.
Okay.
Okay. Because it's saying that you've taken the courses. All right. It's not saying that you graduated.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you have a CPR card, I would put that in. If you have any kind of courses where you've taken workshops and gotten a certificate, like cultural sensitivity, um, I don't know, I'm thinking outside the box here, emotional intelligence certifications or courses, um, customer service classes. There's all kinds of stuff that's out there that we take now. You
Okay.
can actually even go online where I said on Own It, and it'll give you places where you can actually get certifications where you can pay. For example, your food handler's card costs you $7.
Mm.
You do it online, you pay it online, and then you print the certificate online, and you do it in one day. Your
Wow.
typing test, the county does it. I think they charge you like $10 for it, and now you've got it. If you need to get trainings on that, we have like links where you can go on. We can send to you where you can then go on there and practice. For example, what is it, Geico, I think it is that we use. We are connected with Geico. Geico is always looking for people. They hire starting at $19 an hour. The
Mm.
thing that happens here is that you have to have two really great skills. One of them is be able to handle difficult clients on the phone. So one of the tests or one of the interviews is that where you're going to be called and they're going to put a difficult person on there and you have to be able to handle that person on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is typing. You have to be able to type, while you're talking to people and type fast. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, for those of you that have those two abilities, I mean, this is a great place to start. And once you start working with them, they help you get your insurance licensing so you can sell insurance. And now you're talking about anywhere between $50,000 to $75,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a matter of actually getting in there and doing, just going and doing these things. I have a client that did that, and then she ended up going into Aflac, and she's doing really well because with her license, her insurance license that where she can sell insurance, she can now sell like Aflac, she can sell Allstate, she can sell wherever.
Hmm.
So it all depends on what you're looking to do.
If is there going to be age discrimination if you do put the year that the years that you went to college or whatever, and like you say it's 1980 or whatever, aren't they going to go, wait a minute, this person is blank years old?
It's never been an issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't speak to all agencies. I know that I did come up with discrimination a lot along my career, but you just put it aside and move on to the next. Do you really want to work for a company that's going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what you want to do is be able to work with a company that's actually going to not do that. I remember going to back when I was in property management. I went to, and I was in LA. I had 15 years of property management experience, and I went to interview this one place, and up in Beverly Hills, and the gentleman, the first thing he said was, "You're not our type."
Ooh.
Yeah, and so I said, "Okay, fine," and I left. I could have easily have. I found out later that they only hired men that were within a certain age group.
Mm.
You know, I could have easily have filed a discriminatory complaint. But
Mhm,
at that point, it was, do I really want to work for an agency that's going to think that way?
mhm,
Move on, go to the next one.
mhm.
You know.
Okay, that's good.
All right. Okay, folks. Any other questions?
No.
I have a quick question.
Sure, John C.
Um, my question is, what if you got like certificates in high school, like very prestigious ones? Do you put these things on your resume so people know about it, or do you just tend to leave them off?
It depends on what it is that you're applying for. So let's say that you're applying for a position as an admin assistant, right? So would a merit of team playing work? You probably would, right? But would getting the award for best friend work? No. You know what I mean?
I
It
was just,
depends on what it is that you're talking about.
mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, John C. I just saw a resume that had 4 pages.
Oh,
In the 4 pages, it was talking about stuff from when they were in high school all the way to now. And they were applying for an admin assistant position, but in there you had they had a certificate in physical training, they had a certificate in body mechanics, they had a certificate, all of these high school things, and they were applying for an admin assistant position. So I took all of that and transferred it over to what was relevant to a one pager.
oh,
Okay. I let them submit the one that they wanted to submit, and then I submitted the one that I had done for them, and they got called on the one that I submitted, not on the one that they submitted, because it was too busy.
yeah.
Employers don't have the time to look at all of this stuff. So you want to show them what's relevant to that position right now. So if you're in your 30s,
Mhm.
would something that you did when you were 17 or 18 be relevant now?
Um,
Maybe, maybe not.
I don't know.
It's a matter of what you're applying for. Okay? I
It's
hope that answered your question. I hope.
Yes, ma'am. It's just for certain jobs, like for my master's program, they're asking me like for high school. It's because I was a national cheerleader,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm just like, why are these people asking for high school accomplishments as well as like my college? Like, I just found it odd because I had someone ask me, "Oh, like, can you put things on your resume from high school?" And I'm like, that was so long ago. Why are you asking me for high school accomplishments as well? So I just found that very odd. So,
Well, in some high school accomplishments, what they're talking about, maybe the debate team, the science team, the journalists, stuff of that nature. Depending on the positions you're looking for, they're going to be looking to see how long it's been, especially if you don't have the experience that they're looking for now. They're looking to see if you've had any of that experience in the past. Cheerleading would not be an experience that you would need unless you were doing, for example, uh, at the YMCA, you're going to be a counselor, or you're going to be somebody that's going to be working with children, then, or you're looking into being a cheerleader, a teacher, in one of those, then that would be relevant. But it wouldn't be relevant if you're looking for an admin assistant position, or if you're looking for a position in caregiving, or that type of stuff. So that's what I mean about relevant to the position you're applying to.
I think I might need a little bit of help with my high school accomplishment and putting it on my resume because it was just very odd. Like for colleges now, I guess they're asking for senior year of high school in addition to my college, like
Right,
community
right.
college, and then my bachelor's degree, and then all my certificates. So it's kind of like, why? Like I never had that in the past, but maybe since COVID, they want to know a lot of information.
They just want to know more because of the fact that you probably don't have a lot of employment history. So they want to see if there's any relevant other stuff that you've done along your career. And they include your senior year of high school. What I would do is talk to Sylvia. Sylvia is your caseworker.
Yes,
Tell her that your resident that they're asking you for that. Send her the certificates you have, and she'll put it together for you, or she'll help you put it together. Okay?
thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay.
This was nice. I really enjoyed this workshop. I learned so much. Thank you.
Anybody still there?
Juanita, are you there?
Hello?
She must have lost signal. This is Monica. I'm another workforce readiness specialist. She may have lost signal. Juanita, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. I got muted. I don't know
Oh,
what happened. You know what it is? It's that, right now there's a lot of cars passing outside and you can hear the noise. And so I try to keep you guys from having to hear all that noise out there. Sorry about that. There you go. See?
no worries.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and end this workshop. Since I have no one else give me any other questions, okay? And we'll talk soon. Hopefully this was helpful. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Miss Juanita, may I please schedule that appointment with you, ma'am?
Which one for what?
I think yesterday I sent you an email just regarding a Zoom meeting, ma'am.
Me or Sylvia? I didn't see one for me. Maybe Sylvia.
Yes, ma'am. I sent it around like 3 o'clock, and I was just going to reply back to it. It's just a Zoom meeting, and then you said you're off on Friday, and if we could schedule one on Wednesday, and that is okay.
Oh, okay, okay. So let me look to see what is a good time for you next week.
Wednesday.
Wednesday? Okay. I may have half an hour somewhere on Wednesday, maybe from 11 to 11:30. I'll check to see. All right.
I think next Wednesday is not the 16th. Okay, Wednesday is the 9th. So
Right.
I could do like 3 or 2.
All right. Let me look and see my schedule and I'll send you a Zoom meeting, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You too.